Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Gary A. Swaby, and you're now listening to the Powercast episode 23. And I'm here with Miss Dana Abercrombie. How you doing, Dana?
What's up, everyone? I'm happy. I'm excited. Let's get our 50 Cent on.
Indeed, indeed. First of all, I just want to say I hope everyone had, a happy Independence Day over there in America land.
Woo!
Yeah, well, us in Britland, we didn't really celebrate that.
You guys kind of
But
despise that day because that's the day when we kind of destroyed all of you.
yeah, that's the day when you guys broke off on your own and abandoned us. So yeah, we're still a bit salty about that. But yeah, I do hope that you all had a great time and enjoyed it. But yeah, we're here to recap Power season 5, episode 2. Richard Bailey is not here this week because he's at a wedding. So, I hope he enjoys himself. I hope he catches the bouquet and, I
He's
hope things
finding his
go great over there. So,
he's finding his future bride, y'all.
yeah, indeed.
He's having his wedding cake on.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna get straight into the recap, breaking down some things that happened and everything. I'm gonna run through some of the major plot points that happened in the episode, and then we'll just get straight into our discussion and our theories and everything like that. So, the episode starts with a gang war scene at the docks kind of thing, and then later on we see the feds discussing the Diaz hit. Then Angela is asking Tasha if anyone knows about Tariq killing Ray Ray. And later on, the trio meet to discuss Dre and the Jimenez. The trio being Jamie, Kanan, and Tommy, of course. Then Jason Miguez rolls up and demands that Tommy kills the Jimenez if he wants to live. And Jason Miguez is the dude from Chicago that Tommy went to see last season. Later on, Tate is asking Jamie if he can do a press conference with Tasha about Raina's murder because he wants the publicity for his campaign. Jamie asks Tasha and she refuses. Later on, the Italian guy Sammy pulls up on Tommy, and Tommy gets to speak to one of the injured hitmen in the job that went wrong last week, where they tried to assassinate Dre. One of the hitmen is actually dead, and the other is injured and kind of bleeding out. Um, Mock visits Proctor and hits him with a proposition. He offers to withdraw his case if Proctor gives up information on his clients, and Proctor is reluctant to do so. Then later on, Jamie asks Kanan who else knew about Tariq's dealings with Ray Ray, because Tasha asked him to find out. And Kanan gives up the name. One of the names is Brains, one of the guys that Tariq was doing the house robberies with. And then later on, Mock subpoenas Jamie's other lawyer, Silver. And also Angela looks up Brains because Tasha, she relays the information to Angela about Brains. Angela looks up his record and she sees that he's deceased, but she also questions how these people even know Tariq in the first place. Later on, Tommy visits his dad, and his dad tells him that he needs to apologize and accept any punishment that Vincent gives him over the hitman being killed and everything. Um, Proctor's, he's testifying, and Silver actually comes in and testifies against him. And there's, a pretty tense scene there. They later find out that the other hitman is dead. So Tommy finds out that, both hitmen died. Like the other one he spoke to earlier, he's dead too. And Tasha and Jamie attend a church grieving group. And one of the parents talks about following the drunk driver that took their son. And, Jamie kind of takes that to heart a little bit. And later on, Jamie tries to call Angela multiple times because he's a bit hurt and needs someone to talk to. Later on, Dre's friend from the block. I forgot his name. He kills one of the I forget the group they're with, but he kills one of the guys that Dre wanted dead, but he didn't want the heat coming back on them. So he killed him after hearing Dre talk to Cristobal about it. And they have a big argument about this when the guy tells Dre that, he killed the guy and everything. And Kanan actually sees them arguing in the background. He's watching from a distance. And then later on, Jamie and Tasha show up to Tate's conference, and he puts them on the spot completely, inviting them to the stage to talk about Raina's murder. Later on, the feds learn that Tommy's been visiting Teresi, and they question why he's visiting him all of a sudden. Later on, Tommy lies to Vincent when he's, basically asking for forgiveness and everything, and letting him know that he screwed up. But he lies to him by saying that, he killed the person who killed those two hitmen, when really he hasn't, because he definitely hasn't killed Dre. And Sammy actually lies for him, and he's upset about having to lie for Tommy. So yeah, that kind of causes a lot of tension in amongst the Italian people. And then later on, we see Angela is onto the Jimenez. She's basically describing what was happening in the boardroom and everything at the Fed office. And then the final scene is Jamie murdering the drunk driver that he heard about from the grief group earlier. So, this episode, it was kind of like, it was one of those episodes where it's like a lot of setup. I think this episode had a lot of setup for future episodes. It was kind of a lot slower than the first episode. And yeah, there wasn't too much like crazy plot twists or anything jumping out at us here. It was just, a lot of setup stuff. And it's creating more threads, more directions that, the season can go, I guess. But what's your initial thoughts after that episode, Dana?
Well, here's the thing. I think for me, the first episode of the season was just so impactful and confusing and action packed, considering everything, that it's hard to follow up. And so, while this episode was a bit slower and a bit boringer, I think that I appreciate how they little plots that they really did well, and that was, how do you grieve your child? And that whole scene with them going to the grief counseling and listening to the stories, and I felt like this was the first time that we saw Jamie and oh god, it just slipped my mind, the wife's name.
Tasha.
Yeah, sorry. We saw Jamie and Tasha kind of together as a unit, not necessarily leaning on each other, because remember, again, Jamie went off and called Angela, but somewhat of a unit, and that they're trying to process something together. So, it's very unfortunate that it takes a death for them to kind of come together again. But I think that it was really important of how they touched upon their grief, and how the scene with the drunk driver, it's kind of enacting revenge. I take it as two ways: as to to get back as the kid who died, and also to take out your own frustration over what happened with Raina. So I really liked that, and I really liked how Tommy stepped up this episode. This thing also with Tommy and his father, and him going and his father saying that you're gonna have to basically take whatever punishment that you're gonna be dished out. We're gonna see, Tommy either falling or completely snapping and causing his own demise. Like, I wonder if he is going to actually follow that advice, or because remember, Tommy can flip and switch very easily. So that just makes me question more of what Tommy is going to do. So while this is all about all the different characters and all the different setups, to me it felt like it was more of a Tasha Jamie and Tommy storyline.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is because you touched on, them grieving and everything. I like that they're showing a lot of that now because towards the end of the last season, season 4, it was like it felt very rushed because so much was going on and it was so fast moving. And I feel like we didn't really see them grieve when Raina actually died. But we are starting to see a lot of that grieving now, after the fact. So it's good to see, this other side of Tasha and Jamie, because they've been very cold hearted and they're lacking in emotion previously. So now we're really seeing them tested, in their emotions, and that's really good to see for sure. Especially because it brings them closer together as well, even though they're not fully repaired as a couple yet, but they're sort of cordial with each other at the moment. So that's it's pretty good to see.
I
Yep.
don't think that they'll ever be repaired as a couple. Remember, if you saw like the previous episode, and even in this episode now, they were arguing back and forth of like whose fault it was. Well, why wasn't you paying attention to him? That's your son, stuff like that, back and forth. And I just kind of find it really, I can't say funny. It's kind of weird to say funny, but really interesting that you have from last season. We've expressed how inattentive both of the parents were. Like they were off doing their own thing, and the kids were just, doing whatever it was that they were doing. That's how Tariq got into the situation in the first place. Him running off to Kanan, and Kanan knowing that his father's not going to pay any attention to him, and it's just kind of really weird to like see this dynamic of, it's all your fault, and then kind of see them come together in a way. But I also want to have more scenes between them and Tariq, because remember we had like a previous scene with Jamie and Tariq, and he was very angry, and it was very understandable that he was angry. But I think at this moment that Jamie needs to stand up and be that strong figure and that father to Tariq, so that he guides him. And Tariq itself, like, he seems to be lost and confused, because I have no idea what he's trying to do or trying to even accomplish at this point.
Yeah.
I'm
Um, I,
so lost.
I think at this point, like Tariq, I don't even think he respects Jamie. Like he doesn't respect his father at all. Like he's lost all respect because it's like anything his father is planning, he tries to damage it. He tries to sabotage it. Just like last week when he texted Dre to tell him
I
to
didn't
warn him.
understand
So
that. I like did not understand that at all. Like I literally wanted to throw something at his face. Remember when 50 Cent kept saying "get the strap"? That,
yeah,
I think that terminology is directed towards Tariq. Someone needs to get the strap on Tariq. I didn't understand that whole situation at all. And Tariq has been lost for a very long time. I don't know whether or not he's going to pull through. And I honestly don't know if the parents care that much.
mm.
I just don't, I still don't get that caring
Well,
situation.
they're sending him away to that school and everything.
This
So I don't
they're
know.
sending him away in order to like, oh, because this is what you did, you screwed up, and you got your sister killed, we have to go hide you. I don't really see it in that we love you, we're here to protect you, we have to send you away for your own protection, but we're still always here, don't worry. I just see it as they view him as a problem, and so they're just throwing him away.
Yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
it's a very complicated thing. I mean, your own child killed your other child, basically. It's his fault.
yeah. Something tells me though that he's not going to be away for too long
No,
whenever he does go away to the school or whatever. If he goes away, I feel like he's going to be pulled back into things pretty soon.
I see him either running away, or maybe through some weird thing he gets kidnapped, or Kanan gets him.
Yeah, or he just I don't know. Maybe he'll. I mean, he clearly has some sort of respect for Dre, so maybe he'll run away from the school and actually end up working with Dre or something like and
It's
hiding out
respect
with
or
Dre.
fear, because that's a thin line.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's respect or is it actual fear.
who knows?
Eh.
Um, so let's talk about Tommy. So a lot happens with him in this episode. He's given that ultimatum from Jason Miguez, the Chicago drug lord or whatever. And to pay off what he owes him, he has to take out the Jimenez basically.
Mhm.
Um, and also the whole thing with the Italians happens. Both those hitmen that he paid for died, and everything they do goes through Vincent. They have strong ties to Vincent, so he ends up having to apologize. But while apologizing, he lies also, and says that he killed Dre and avenged their deaths when he really didn't. So do you think all of this is going to come back to haunt Tommy? Because
Absolutely. What? First of all, Dre is alive, and
yeah,
somebody is bound to spot him. Second of all, when you start crossing over people, and you have to, he has to now kill the other group. There's a lot of things that's gonna happen, and he's gonna get caught up in a lot of his lies, and it might be his own downfall. And I don't
mhm,
know why he even admitted to saying that he killed Dre. Was it a sort of like a fear thing, or maybe it was one of those? You know how you say something out in the universe that's not in fruition yet, but you want it to be into fruition. So if I was to say, yeah, I'm a millionaire, but I'm not really a millionaire, but in my mindset, I'm going to think that way in order for me to actually be a millionaire.
yeah.
Maybe he views that, oh, yeah, I killed him. Obviously, he's not dead, but that opportunity is definitely going to come, and I'm going to be the one that takes him out.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, like if Vincent ever finds out that that was a lie,
Oh, he's
that's
going to
gonna
find out.
because remember, Sammy also vouched for him, and Sammy is a well-respected person in this Italian organization.
He's dead
So
too.
yeah, so if Vincent finds out that Dre is still walking, the guy that killed, his godsons or whatever relationship they had, is gonna get very dark for Tommy, I think. So yeah, that's
And yeah,
that's a very messy thing.
they're both. I definitely see their lives are going to be in the balance. Absolutely. Tommy may not be killed off, but the other guy definitely will be. And this is going to probably start off another war. Um, it's just a lot of questions that I have. Like, I just don't understand why. Why
Mm.
would you lie? I mean, I just don't get it. That's the only part. And then the whole bodyguards, not the bodyguards, the guys that they sent out to to, to kill him, they just seem to be bumbling and fumbling. I was confused about their whole situation and how they was even hired.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you watch the episode, it's like really, and then you got shot that way, and that's how you die.
yeah.
And I would have actually preferred. Remember how the guy ended up bleeding out and dying? I would have preferred it that they killed him. That Tommy killed him.
What was weird to me was like they left him and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna come back with the doctor later." Like, shouldn't you have got the doctor now? Like, this guy's like bleeding and shot up and everything. Like,
It
of course he was gonna
seemed
die.
it seemed like a throwaway scene. They didn't even really need that scene. And I thought it would have, if you're gonna include that scene, they should have just killed him to show this is what you can't get the job done. You come back shot. You have the audacity to come and ask for help from us, and we'll kill you.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they didn't do that. That was a very confusing and unnecessary scene.
Hmm. So about the Jimenez thing, so a lot's going on with the Jimenez right now because Dre is obviously working with them, and now Kanan, uh, Jamie, and Tommy have to take out the Jimenez. And also Angela is on their scent as well. She's investigating them. She actually brought them up in a meeting at the Fed office and everything. So um what like I have kind of a theory. Like I think maybe when Jamie if Jamie gets back in touch with Angela, maybe there's a way he'll feed her information so that she actually takes the Jimenez out of the mix. You know,
Oh,
because I think they like the Jimenez is going to be tricky for. I mean, if they're having trouble getting Dre at this point, I don't think they're going to be able to take out the Jimenez. So maybe Jamie is going to try and use his, attachment to Angela as a way to take out the Jimenez. So is this something you see happening, maybe?
Yes and no. Here's why I say yes and no. Yes, I do see that happening because that would just be a very good way to eliminate that situation and we can throw away that storyline. And no, also because Angela, I think right now her conscience is really getting at her. And she's going to try to help Jamie as much as she can. But we also have to remember that there is the AI, the IA, the internal affairs lady.
Mm-hmm.
So that may actually hinder her from being able to fully help him.
Yeah. And
So
also,
that's my thing. I feel like they introduced the investigator for an actual reason. And she can't keep feeding cross information over because this woman seems like she's very intent on finding out what's going on. And I think that she has something probably against Angela.
yeah, and also Sax, her colleague Sax, he definitely wants Angela out too. So he's got it in for her. So yeah.
So I just don't see it happening. I don't think that she can help as much. Maybe she can help with Tasha and like the minimal things that she's been able to do. But when it comes out to taking out entire crews and getting the Italians, I don't see it. Maybe she can warn him, send a little text message, but I don't fully see that happening. And if she does, it'll probably end up to add to her downfall.
Right. And also, like, what do you think of the character Tate? Because it seems like he's really kind of just using Jamie at this point to build up his own campaign and make himself look good. And I'm not sure how that relationship is going to progress exactly, and what Jamie even wants from Tate at this point. Like, because why does he even need him? Like, obviously, Tate kind of because I remember Jamie had that issue with Stern last season, and Tate kind of helped him get away from that. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like Jamie should be dealing with the loss of his daughter and everything else going on without, messing with this dude Tate, because Tate is clearly just using him and his grief to his advantage. But what do you think the outcome of that friendship or relationship, whatever it is going to be?
Can I just say really quickly, I hate that name. I hate that they named him after his real name. I just hate the Tate thing. So Rashad, because I just hate calling him Tate, and he's Tate. He's one of those people that I see is after his own power, and he's willing to do whatever he can, and even take advantage of other people in time of their grief. I compared to being as, the preacher that's always passed the basket around. We're here to take an offering. I'm here to save you, but you have to pass the offering around. I see him as being one of those people. And remember during the funeral that they had last episode, I believe, yes. That remember how Tommy wasn't able to sit with the family, even though that was his godfather?
Yeah.
He was godfather, and it was like, no, it looks bad. No, it's all about appearances. He doesn't care about Jamie. He doesn't care about anything. He is just there for his own political career. And I really do hope that Jamie doesn't get too distracted and lost in his own grief to not see Rashad, because I'm not calling him Tate, his true intentions.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
I can't trust him. I'm sorry, I can't.
To me, it seems like this whole Tate thing is like just the replacement for the club for Jamie, because like throughout all the seasons, he had the club as like his go-to getaway spot, that the thing that he's focused and driven by. And now it's like he doesn't have the club, so it's like, okay, he has this relationship with Tate instead. So I feel like that's probably just like a fill-in for that situation, so that he has something else in the background as well. But yeah, I kind of want to see how it plays out though. So
Maybe he dies, because everyone dies on this show. So I'm gonna say he's gonna be killed
that's a
through his own
possibility.
greed. Yay!
That's definitely a possibility.
I just
Well, I mean,
don't.
that
Oh, sorry.
didn't they say that the Tate character is having his own spin-off or something? I'm pretty sure that was announced or something.
I'm sorry.
So what?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, didn't they announce that the Tate character is having his own spin-off show on Stars?
Well, yes, they did. From the last thing that I heard of, I didn't hear anything else about it after that. But we don't know whether or not it's a prequel.
Okay. Yeah,
So it could easily be a prequel, and I would prefer a prequel rather than something that's concurrent or after the fact.
Yeah, that makes more sense to have it a prequel. But yeah, I guess in that case he could die. So we'll see.
And he's just so greasy. And remember how he invited the people and to the funeral, and they didn't know any. They didn't even know Raina.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't care about people's actual feelings. It's just what's best for him and what's best for publicity. He's like a really great PR guy, but he's just grimy.
Yeah.
And I understand that Ghost needs him because he has to clean up his image. But and I see them clashing. It's just not going to work. Sorry.
Yeah, well, we kind of saw that happening in this episode where, he puts them on the spot and then Jamie was a bit upset about that after. So, yeah, so there's a scene where, Dre and, one of his guys from the hood back in the day, he actually kills one of the people that he hears him, Dre talking about with Cristobal. And they have a big argument about it. And Kanan is in the background watching when this happens. So I have a theory. I think Kanan is going to go after, Dre's friend that he kind of, had an argument with. And he's probably going to try and use him as a pawn to, maybe get to Dre or something like that.
Well, he's very well known for using people. So that would be great. But I just find it really interesting that they can find everybody else, but they still can't find Dre.
Yeah, like it seems like they could just they could have killed him so many times. I just don't understand.
They could have killed him at the graveyard. What the heck? Like, oh, okay, I don't want to kill you in front of my daughter's grave. Hey, guy, let's come and take a walk. And then you take a walk. The second you step off of your daughter's grave, boom, I kill you, and that's the end of it. Like, I just really feel like there are moments that I think they are drawing this out. The very first episode that Dre was one of my favorite characters because he's one of those people that studies. So maybe, random thought, maybe this is all to show how much Dre has been observing everybody, that he's able to be untraceable. Because remember from the very beginning, when they first killed the guy and he was the one who had to clean up everything.
Yeah.
And they made him do all like the dirty work. He learned and he was quiet and that's how he's evaded. So maybe it is to show just how intelligent he really is. Also, it's really convenient how they wrote it, where he could have been killed multiple times already. But yeah.
Yeah, another little nitpick is because it seems like they want to use the fact that the trio have to take out the Jimenez. I think they want to use that as the reason why they're not killing Dre, because they probably want Dre to lead them to the Jimenez or something. But I feel like they could easily kill Dre and find the Jimenez, because there's a scene in this episode where Jamie walks right into Dre's club and he sees Dre talking with the Jimenez. Like, if they want to find the Jimenez, they can find the Jimenez. Like, so
weird.
So I don't understand why they can't just kill Dre and then kill the Jimenez or something like that. Like, I don't know.
The Super Friends are not that bright. They're just not that bright. I don't know either, but I think it all has to do with just, everything is being written too conveniently.
Yeah.
So certain things, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Still entertaining, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that. But
it's entertainingly frustrating. It's frustrating more than entertaining at this point.
Yeah, I think it's like little details like that kind of makes me not see it in the same light as The Wire, because I know it gets Wire comparisons, but The Wire was just so much better because it just all made sense. It all connected, But
No, you know what's funny? I never seen this as The Wire. I see this as New Jack City.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there have been some Wire comparisons, but yeah, I don't see it, because
I've
there's
never seen
too many convenient things like that in this. So
New Jack City, 1,000%. I cannot see this as The Wire. I don't understand the comparisons. Why?
mm,
Because there's black people and there's kids and there's also drug dealing. I don't really get it. And there's a cop. No, I see New Jack City.
yeah. Um. So yeah, like last thing I really wanted to say was like, so there's this murder at the end of the episode, where Jamie kills the drink driver that, took out one of the other Griever's sons.
Mhm.
Um, I understand his motivations, and obviously he's lost a child, and he's going through it and everything, and he probably feels for those other parents who lost a child also. But is this stupid for Jamie to just commit random murders like this at this point? Because these are things that can be tied back to him,
Yes.
So would you?
Yes, you don't randomly kill people in the alleyway just because you're in your feelings. No, that was not very smart. And that was an emotional kill. And I think that it has more to do with his own daughter and less to do with the couple. He can't help the situation with right now he can't kill Dre at the moment, but he can kill that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so while it made him feel better temporarily, I think it is going to catch up with him. And this is just going to be something that they link him to. And it wasn't exactly a very clean murder. So who knows what type of DNA was left behind? We don't know if there was any cameras that watched the whole thing. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions about how that could have been, or it could have just been again another throwaway thing. But I think that this show sometimes is very intentional, and I feel that this is something that may end up playing back later, even if not him like adding up to the murders and he being prosecuted or charged for this. I do think it is the death of that guy may end up getting back to the parents of the child that was murdered by him, and it may cause suspicion like, oh, well, didn't we just talk about this and then the next day he's dead, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, right now it just seems like it was very emotional, and when you do an emotional kill, it's not exactly a smart kill.
Yeah. And also it's like, okay, you can, you can kill drug dealers all day, and they're like those are a dime a dozen. Like the
Right.
police are expecting drug dealers and thugs and gang members to be murdered all the time. But like this guy, although he was drink driving and he killed a kid, he was free walking around like a regular civilian. So it's like anytime you hit a regular civilian, who has nothing to do with the drugs, the gangs, nothing like that, that's gonna, that's gonna raise those red flags a little bit. So I think this is something that will come back later on to haunt Jamie. So yeah, that definitely wasn't a wise move for him. And like you said, it was a very emotional kill for him.
And it was very surprising also.
Yeah,
Like it
definitely.
was just
I wasn't expecting it. It was like out of
no, it was
nowhere.
just odd and out of the blue.
Yeah.
But I understand. But it's still odd.
Mm-hmm.
But then now I wonder, will he like be his own like Avenger? Will he just start avenging people's murders? Or was
Become
it
a
just a one time?
vigilante.
He's a vigilante. And everybody who's like in the group, my daughter died of a drug overdose, and the neighbor sold the drugs, and now he's dead. I just wonder. Who
that
knows?
that'd be funny.
That would be funny. I doubt it, but it'd still be funny.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that was a very set up episode. There wasn't too much to really pull from it. But is there anything else in particular that you wanted to kind of discuss or touch on that happened?
You know what I would love?
What's
I
that?
would I would love a Dre episode. Where we
Just
just
all
follow
Dre.
Dre. Just follow a Dre episode. So we know what he's thinking, what's really going on with him. And we know how he's able to evade so many times.
What did you think of his scenes in this one? Because there was some really like awkward,
Those were
sex
some
scenes and.
really awkward. I was confused, but I guess that's the life that you live in when you're in that life with windows and everything else.
Yeah, like to be honest, like that scenes like that, like the second kind of sex scene or whatever in the club or whatever, like that just seems like filler. Like you could have put something else there. Like I mean, I don't understand you know, why they even wasted time on that, to be honest.
I
Um
don't know. Maybe I think it was to help establish the relationship that he has with the guy. Because remember when he came in, it was the same girl that he was sleeping with that was on the window.
yeah, I know that,
So
but
it was basically it's like I see you, I respect you, and I see you as like not necessarily my equal, but I see you as I respect what you're doing right now. So here, have her. You can do what I
yeah,
do. Here, you can go and go off with her as well.
I feel like
I
they could
respect
have.
it.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
like I feel like they could have put that across in a better way, or a different way altogether, a more concise way. And
Well, the whole scene with him welcome him into the room, I thought that was well done, considering everything.
what you mean the first scene when?
The first scene, yeah.
Yeah, like that one, I have no problems with. Like, okay, cool, I understand. But the second one at the club, it was just a bit random, a bit awkward. So
It was random, but at the same time, I think it's to help establish Dre's status within that group.
yeah, fair enough. Um, yeah, anything else in particular?
Um, no, we just mean we need more. As I said before, we need more Dre, and we need to find out what's going on with Tariq. Like, I need to know a motive as to what the heck is going on with him.
Oh, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Tariq this season. Like we'll find out, what's going on in his mind at some point.
And I want to
For
see
sure.
how the death of his sister really affects him.
Yeah,
Because right now, for me, I'm still getting the same Tariq from when he was alive, when Raina was alive. I'm
yeah,
not
and
really seeing a character change.
I can't even tell when he's being genuine and not genuine because like there's a scene where here, there's like a kind of touching scene between him and his mother where, he's like, oh, Raina's death is all my fault and, this and that. And it's like, does he really mean that? Or like, is he running game on her? Like,
Well, I hope he's not as well. If he's running game, then he's a psycho or sociopath. That's a whole nother thing there. He's been hanging out with Tommy too long. I don't know. But I think that it was real. I think that it's something he doesn't allow himself to feel. But the thing is, just for me, in terms of character development, I don't see any character development.
mhm.
Everything is just the same from the previous season. So I would need to see something. Even if it's like he's going to just be a complete psychopath. I need
Yeah,
something.
I think we'll get something, and I definitely think he's going to become a major kind of player in how things turn out later on. Maybe he'll even play a part in uh, bringing down his father, like on the legal front. Maybe he'll even testify or snitch or something like that. He there's so many directions this character can go. So I just want to see how that unfolds.
Well, it is called
Um,
power. Maybe he's the one who ends up with all the power.
that's also a possibility for sure. Um, but yeah, did you have anything else?
No, overall, it was a decent episode. It was a little bit slow, as we said before, and it was setting up a lot of things. I look forward to the next episode and what's going to happen with the characters, and what happens with Dre and this whole deal, and this is weird crossing over and double crossing stuff that they have to do, and killing all these other people. So we'll see how that all plans out. And I'm really interested in Tommy. Like, I think his father and what he said was really like foreshadowing everything what's to come for this season and what's to come for this character. Maybe he doesn't even make it out alive.
Tommy has to make it, man. He's definitely one of the best characters in there. So yeah.
He is one of the
But
best characters, but again, it's called power, and people have died. except
Oh,
for
real
Angela.
real quick though, do you think him and Keisha are gonna get back together? Because they had a couple scenes, you know, over the past couple episodes where it's like they're kind of rekindling a little bit,
See,
kind of,
I view them as a convenient couple. Not even just a couple, just like friends with benefits.
right?
So they could. Maybe it could be something that's deeper, and then he dies.
Hmm.
So maybe. And then he has a lot going on, so he can also turn to Keisha as like the type of someone to talk to. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind that.
yeah. I guess we'll see, but yeah, that's it from us for Power season 5, episode 2. We definitely want to see all the theories, in the comments. We want to give a big shout outs to all the people who have supported the Powercast, over the past couple of years that we've been covering Power and everything. I do also want to let people know that there may be a few changes in the schedule of when this show releases in the coming weeks, because Stars is kind of switching up how they give us the episodes and stuff like that because of the leaks that happened last year. So we managed, like, we were able to get the first 2 episodes pretty early so that we could make this possible. But from next week, from episode 3, things might change in how they deliver the episodes to us. And with me being in the UK as well, it means there's a time difference. So there may be the show might drop slightly later. I don't know. We're gonna figure some things out, on the back end to make sure we're still able to get the show out in a decent amount of time. So just be warned that the schedule of when this drops might change a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it from us for this week. And we hope you guys enjoyed the next episode. And yeah, check out the website, thecoalition.com. Check out all the other content there: video games, entertainment news, entertainment, TV show recaps, all that good stuff.
Yes.
For now,
Shout out to the listeners and shout out to Stars.
sure, big shouts to Stars and Courtney Camp. But for now, we say good night. Good night, people.
Good night.